Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to Property Mastermind Podcast, episode 82. This week, we're talking mindset. Where is your mindset? This is a solo episode with myself today, just unpacking how what goes on in your head can really upset the results that you're after. So let's jump on into episode 82. Hello, welcome to episode 82. And as I said, solo episode, talking mindset today, because I'm thinking this is the first podcast come out that we're setting out this year for 2023. So Happy New Year, everybody. And it doesn't matter when you're listening to this, you're going to get a lot out of it. It hopefully just inspires you to just use a few of the strategies that I'm going to talk you through that might help you with a more successful 2023 or future, or even toward the future you're after. So where is your mindset? Before we get started, maybe I'll pass on or elaborate a little on my credentials in this area. I have been coaching for, it's about 14 years now. Started off, I did really great coach training through the Neuro Leadership Group, some training with David Rock, a neuroscientist. So it's really a brain-based way of coaching, getting people to come to their own decisions. And when you come to your own decision, you're more likely to do what you decide on. So teaching people how to think more efficiently, and I do it without them knowing. It's almost like a Jedi mind trick. So I started off in basically life coaching was the first sort of training I did, then moved on to business coaching and now I'm property coaching. But you know what? It encompasses the whole three every time I coach. So mostly working with property developers these days, always an aspect, a massive part of that is business coaching. And another massive part of that is life coaching, which is really mindset, covers all of those three areas: life, business, and property. So I started off really in health, and I started off working with people who wanted to lose weight, who wanted to look better, feel better. And I realized that they were missing something, and it was the mindset. So then I went down a massive training route of just understanding why people don't do what they want to do. And we're going to cover off on a bit of that today. So I want you to think about, where is your mindset? And if you feel a little bit irked by some of the things I say, maybe that's something you could look into for yourself. So I'm going to start by just unpacking whether you are a thermostat or are you a thermometer. So a thermostat, you set, you decide on however hot or however cold it is going to be. And that is where the room temperature goes to. Whereas a thermometer, it's controlled by what's happening. It tells you it gets cold, the temperature drops on the thermometer. It gets hot, the temperature rises on the thermometer. So when it comes to life, we actually want to be the thermostat. We want to control what we do. We want to control the temperature. We want to control our actions. We don't really want to be that thermometer that is controlled by the environment. So think about you when it comes to, we'll go with health, we'll go with wealth, and we'll go with relationships. So when it comes to health, because you need to have good health to have the energy that you want to achieve what you want to do. You just need to have good health. And then when it comes to wealth, you're obviously listening to this because you're a property enthusiast, either wanting to get into development, perhaps you're thinking of transitioning over, or you just like Bob and I. Maybe it could be that. And then the last thing is a relationship. Most people want to have a good relationship with themselves, first of all, with a partner, and then with their friends, family, their wider circle. So if you think about coming back to, where is your mindset when it comes to your health? Do you look after yourself? Or are you too busy to perhaps exercise, or too busy, or find it difficult to use the whole, I've got a sweet tooth, so I have that. I think when it comes to health, we've got to be careful how we label ourselves. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, I hate working out in the mornings. And they asked me when I worked out. And I said, I just work out when it works out for me. As in, I look at my diary for the day, I look what I've got going on, and I slot working out in there wherever that works. And for some, I realise that doesn't work. They have to do the 6 o'clock in the morning or the 5 in the morning or the 5 p.m. at night or whatever. It doesn't actually matter. What matters is that you do it. So as a thermostat, I've set my health to I exercise 6 days out of 7. That is what I control to do. I'm not being a thermometer and being affected by, I'm too busy today, so I won't. Or something's come up, so I won't. Or whatever your reasons for not doing what you want to do, it's too hard, it's too hot, it's too cold, whatever that is. By controlling that decision, by being a thermostat, by setting it, that's how I choose to maintain a regular exercise regime. The same goes with what I eat or what I put in my body. It's all about the control that I have over it. I don't change my mind. I think I write about this in my book, which isn't out yet. It's getting closer. But I talk about when you hang out with people who eat bad food, you're more likely to eat bad food. So if you go for dinner and everyone's having burger and fries, well, you'll be more likely to have burger and fries. But if you were a thermostat, you'd actually go, no, I don't eat that because it's not. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with burger and fries, but get the analogy. Instead of being a thermometer and just going with the flow because that's easier, you stick to your level of what's important to you, your level of control, what you're trying to achieve. You maintain that momentum. So that's sort of covering off on health, and the same thing with wealth. And we'll look at that with, are you where you want to be financially right now? Or is there something else you're after? Perhaps in life you're thinking, I'm not where I thought I would be right now. Or maybe you're at a point where you're thinking, yes, but I want to achieve this. Have you set that thermostat? Have you set it to there? Or are you more a thermometer? You sort of get on a bit of a roll and then you change your mind, or things become difficult, things become challenging. And perhaps it is a property development. You get all excited and maybe you attend some workshops or you attend a course or you buy a course, but you never actually stay the course. You never commit to doing it. You're more of you attend, but you do nothing. We're more of not even a property investor. You're more of a course investor. Or you just don't follow through on the actions. Perhaps you don't find it something difficult. Perhaps it's finding your patch, so it's just easier to do nothing because I'll get to that later. So if that's the case, you're being controlled by the environment of being unsure about or unclear about what you want. So where are you right now when it comes to your wealth journey in life? And then the last one was relationship. How is your relationship with yourself? Do you like you? Do you like you? That is a really good question. Do you ever think to yourself, I should have done this, could have done that? Like, are you ever disappointed with you, with your behaviour, with how you are? Do you ever look at yourself in the mirror and feel, you just kind of ho-hum? Or do you go up to yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, you got this girl, you got this guy, you got this, do you inspire yourself? Do you find that internal drive to like the person that you are? And I'm going to make a suggestion here. If you don't like who you are, just practice finding the little bits that you like. There might be something you like. You might like your teeth. You might like the fact that you're a good neighbour. You might like the fact that you're tidy. You might like the fact that you're particular. Whatever it is, start liking little things and practice adding more to them every day. Because the more we see, the more we choose to see about anything, the more real, the more exposed it becomes, the more we will notice. It's the old reticular activating system, and I'm not going to go down that road right now, but the analogy that a lot of people use is you think about buying a new car, and perhaps you're going to get yourself a white, Tesla. You're going to get yourself a white Tesla, and you didn't actually notice how many Teslas were on the road until you decided you were going to get one. And then all of a sudden, you can see that there are so many white Teslas on the road and you'd never noticed. So what happens is you've said to your brain, white Tesla's important, and it starts pointing them out to you. So the same goes with liking yourself. So if you go, maybe in the morning, you know what, I'm having a good hair day today. I like my hair. Or, you know what, I've got great hands. I like my hands. Or, you know what, I'm such a good decision maker. Start finding those things you like about yourself, and then your reticular activating system, your brain will start pointing them out more. Add to them every day. And it might be hard some days because we don't always wake up happy. We don't always wake up, some days we wake up and it's not the best day in the world. But when you start noticing those things early, you're saying to your brain, hey, show me how good I am. Show me how I can like myself more. Because the more you like yourself, the happier you are. The happier you are, you start creating for yourself positive result spirals. And that's something that I have come up with. And it's the way of looking at when something good happens, it makes something good happen, which makes something good happen. And it has a massive flow-on effect. It is a positive result spiral. So by just liking yourself first, you like the person you're with. You like your family. You like your friends. You will find more people, more relationships that you do like. But it begins with you. So have you set yourself as a thermostat or as a thermometer in those areas? And I'm just picking those areas because in my experience, they're the three main areas where people want to improve on. And you might think, not me, but it is in some way. And it might not be you, but in general, around 90% of the people I've ever coached, and that would be well into the thousands by now, thousands and thousands of hours, they fall into those categories. So the other thing we can think of is if we are setting ourselves as a thermometer, if we are letting the environment control us, if we are not achieving what we want, what are you doing? What's your, I'll call it your reason, the word I'm after, it's just escaped me. What is the reason you give it? Are you a procrastinator? The reason I'm after, the word I'm after is self-sabotage. So how do you self-sabotage to make yourself a thermometer? Are you a procrastinator? Do you procrastinate and put things off? I'll do that later. I can't get to it now. And I'll put my hand up here. I'm a classic for I'm too busy. If I'm acting like a thermometer, and some days I'll put my hand up that I probably do. I'm not achieving where I want to achieve always. And I use the whole I'm too busy. That's my excuse. That is my self-sabotage technique. I'll own that. Another one that people can use, well, actually just unpack that a bit more. If you're procrastinating, you're not doing the things that you say you want to do. So you're not, maybe it's researching a site, or you're not spending time doing something in particular. Maybe it's finishing your taxes. Whatever it is, you just don't do it, and you have a great reason why you can't. But really it's just a way you're procrastinating. Some people, you're not organising your finance. You're just not doing something that you need to be doing. And to get around this, you really need to start that whole write it down is the most important thing that you will do and allocate a time to do it that day. And once you start getting used to prioritising the things that you're putting off, it is a game changer. It is a life changer. I had massive success in my life when I started owning the stuff I was putting off and ticking it off first thing. The other thing it does, if you are putting things off, it leaves open loops in your head, which really stops us being clear about what we want. So when I talk about a loop, it's like a decision unanswered. And if you can see now, I put my hand making a circle off my head. If you can imagine big curly hair, and it's not reattaching back, it's like loose. And all of that stuff is distracting for our brain. So when we have things that are not completed, when we have a list of things that we know we have to do, and we start them and don't finish them, i.e. not completed, they become open loops. It's the same when somebody says to you, oh, I want to talk to you, but I'll talk to you about it later. Straight away your brain goes, what did they want? If that happens, my go-to on that one is, could you just tell me what it's about? Then I can close the loop. I know what it's about. So our brain actually likes certainty. So do you play the procrastinate game? Don't do it. And the other one is the blame game. Is it not your fault? Is this not your fault you're not achieving what you want? Because that's another form of self-sabotage. Why take ownership when we could blame somebody else? You don't want to be that person. You're better off just saying, this is my responsibility. I need to do what this affects me. I need to do what I say I'm going to do. I need to do the thing that I want to do. Because you need to be the star in your own life. You don't want a cameo role. You want to be the person who's in charge of their life. Because if you don't run your own life, if you don't start working to achieve the goals that you want, you just start working to achieve somebody else's goals. Yeah, I know. You don't want to think about that, do you? So no blame game. No blame game. Take ownership of the things that you want and start working toward achieving them. So how do you do that? How do you even know what it is that you want to do? The first thing you have to do is you need to decide that line in the sand, line on the piece of paper, whatever it is. If you're listening to this today and you're thinking, I'm not where I want to be financially, I'm not where I want to be with my health, I'm not where I want to be with my relationship with myself or somebody else, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not achieving what I want. You need to make a decision right now. Okay, I am going to change it. Commit to changing it. Commit. So it's a decision is all it is. Just decide that today is the day that you make change. The next thing is you have to think, what is it that I actually do want? I want to change what I don't want, but what is it that I do want? And to achieve anything, you do need to have a clear vision. You can't just think to yourself, I want to have change, I don't like how things are, but not know where to go, because that becomes an open loop for your brain. It doesn't know where to go. You have to give it a destination, because it's like that white Tesla I was talking about. Then it knows it wants a white Tesla. It doesn't matter if on the way you veer off a little bit, you go off course slightly. All of that stuff doesn't matter. It's about having the destination in mind. I think if you listened to a couple of weeks ago, we did a podcast about people, work and property development, Take You. And we talked about a few people that had started and wanted to become full-time developers and have now got really big jobs from, going through our mentoring program. And that wasn't where they started out intentionally, but it is the same direction as to where they wanted to go. So you have to decide, what is the direction that you want for your health? What is it? Do you want to be more fit? Are you smoking? You don't want to be. Do you want to drink less? Do you want to lose weight? Like whatever that goal is for you, be clear about it. And it's not just, I want to do more exercise. It needs to be more specific than that, because that is an open loop. It's not just I want to lose weight, because that is an open loop. It's I want to lose 10 kilos. It's I want to exercise 6 times a week. It needs to be more specific so it does happen. Otherwise, it is just way too loose, and you won't end up with a white Tesla. You'll end up with a green Corolla. You don't want one of those, or maybe you do. It doesn't really matter. What I'm saying is, what matters is you need to give your brain a destination. It closes that loop and it gives your reticular activating system somewhere to head. It means you're being a thermostat, you are controlling where you want to go, and you've got a destination in mind. So now let's look at that with your wealth. Let's look at that with property development, which is a fabulous vehicle for wealth, or property for you, or whatever your journey is. What is it that you want? Is it to I'm going to use property development. Is it to have a development underway within 6 months? Is it to have purchased a site? Is it to have 2 underway, or 3 or 4? Is it to step up from renovating to developing? Is it a duplex? Is it townhouses? What's in your mind? What is it that you would like to, what would you like to achieve? Where are you going to set the thermostat to? This is a new year. This is 2023. Why not set it now? Is it by 18 months' time you are selling your set of 4 townhouses? What is it for you? Is it finding more investors? Is it becoming investor ready? Is it running it as a business? All of those things are possible. And like I say to everyone I work with, and if you're watching me on YouTube right now, look in your camera. I'm saying, why not you? I've said that to every mentoring student. Why not you? If it's not you, it's just somebody else, and anybody can do this. So where do you want to set that thermostat to you? Where do you want to set that to for your financial future? What is it? Make that decision. Make it, give your brain some clarity, and go do it. And then you need to become that person, don't you? You need to become that person. You need to become that property developer. You need to become that healthy person. You can't just decide that you will take on health, that you will take on wealth, that you'll take on a new relationship without making that internal change to become the thermostat. So you need to identify as that person now. When it comes to when you look at yourself in the mirror to find those things that you like, you need to identify as the person who likes themselves, who has a great relationship with themselves. You have to identify as that person. You have to identify as a property developer, as a successful business person. Because when you identify as that person, then you're on that road, you're on that journey, because you're clear about it. You've written it down, obviously. I didn't say that, but you need to write down what it is you'd like to achieve, even if it's on a scrap piece of paper. But when you identify as a healthy person, you're less likely to go out for dinner. Well, you'll go out for dinner with that group of people. You've set your thermostat to, I'm going to be eating more healthy because I want to lose 10 kgs or whatever that is, or I just want to feel better and not put rubbish in my body, or I only do this once a fortnight and I've already done it. So you identify as somebody who makes great choices when it comes to their health. That's how you identify as that person. When it comes to look at being a property developer, you identify as somebody who's confident, who talks to people about property, who asks people if they're interested in investing with them. You identify as that person. Rather than seeing that person as somebody else, that is now you. That has to be you. So you need to be clear. Remember, you need to be clear about what you want. You need to set that as a goal, perhaps. Yes, as a goal. And you do need to write it down. I think I've probably mentioned this before, but I've still got a book, and it's just a hard copy exercise book that I bought in 2004 that has my goals written in for almost every year. A couple of years I didn't write them in there, but they're written in that same book. And I love looking back and seeing what it is that I have achieved. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I wrote that then. Wow, I can't believe I did that. I wrote in film infomercials, and I did. Like, that's crazy stuff. So being able to write down and achieve the things that you want to do, but looking back, because what that does for me when I get to look back over that book, and I only probably do it twice a year because I'll write what I want to achieve sometime in January, and then I'll reflect on that in July. But I look back over previous years, and I always think, wow, that's impressive. Like, sometimes I pinch myself and think, how does this happen? But it happens because in most cases, I choose to be a thermostat. I don't choose to be a thermometer. I choose my direction. I choose where I want to go. And I don't allow the environment to control what is happening to me. And trust me, I have. And the times I have never been great for me. There haven't been times in my life that I liked it. So it's that reminder that I need to be the thermostat, and I can control what the things that I want. So I'm going to pass that over to you to have a think about, are you able to be a thermostat? Could that be perhaps something you work on for 2023? Like, what is your word for 2023? Is it, choice? That means you choose your destination. You choose how you want to be in situations. You choose what happens to, choose the path, the destiny you want. So could that be your word? Or because you don't really want to be a thermometer where you're reacting, because that's what a thermometer does, just reacts to the environment, is controlled by what's going on around it. And when we think of it like that, it always reminds me of, some people let obstacles, like life obstacles, be on the way, and that would mean you're a thermostat. But when you allow them to be in the way and stopping you, that means you're a thermometer. So I think I'll wind up there. Happy 2023. I hope I have inspired you to think a little bit about what you would like to achieve this year. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. If you think you can, you probably can. And if you think you can't, well, then you're probably right. I hope you have a fabulous year. If you're interested in working with or chatting with myself or Bob about anything we have to offer, send me an email, hillary@propertymastermind.com.au, and I'll look forward to next week when Bob will be back with me. But bye for now. See ya.